Welcome to the second video in the series Learning to Fly, guiding young learners towards independence. Our keyword for today is begin, because in this video we're going to get started and we're going to make our first small change. Getting started is the hardest battle. Now, in the last video, I talked about choices and decision making. There are so many possibilities for involving students in decision making in the classroom. Let's look at some ideas. Routines. As teachers, we have a lot of routines and habitual actions that we don't even really think about. Some of these are admin related. For example, taking the register, collecting homework, writing the date on the board. Others are related to managing the classroom and the resources. So you could set up roles, for example, have a teaching assistant, a board cleaner, a tech wizard, a materials manager, a helper, a messenger. And there are also transition routines, like entering the classroom and getting ready to start and packing up at the end of the lesson. These are just some of the areas in which we can start to give students more responsibility. However, one thing we do need to think about before we start assigning these types of tasks to students is to think about how our classroom is set up and how this might affect these simple classroom routines. Can students get the materials they need? Is everything in reach? For example, are students able to reach the top of the board in order to clean it? I know this is something that I've always struggled with, and I'm an adult. If you want students to clean the board, they might need a step or something to make it accessible. And there may be students for whom this might be a challenge, so this role might not be accessible for all students. Also think about where you store different materials and whether it might be better to change to a different storage system or solution. To sum up, it's important to set students up for success, so make sure that what you're asking of them is actually doable. So now you can start to decide what things you could have your students do. Make a list of everything that you normally do in a lesson, even the tiny little things like turning on and off the lights. Then put a tick next to the things that you could delegate to your students. Next, think about what students need to know in order to do it. For example, if the job is to hand out materials, do your students know where these materials are kept? If they have to collect in materials, do they know where to put them? If they're tasked with taking the register, how are they expected to do this? Once you've got your list, it's time to take action. Choose 3 new rules to introduce in your classroom. Then think about how you will keep a record. Will there be a rotation of roles? Ideally, all students should get the opportunity to take on one of the roles at different times. Then think about the tasks involved. How will you show students what they should do? Remember, they may already know how to do it, so perhaps this is a question that you can ask them. Next lesson, introduce the 3 roles and ask students what they think each one entails. Invite them to demonstrate it and then explain the system to them. If they think of more roles, they should suggest them. You could also discuss how to track the roles so that it's fair. Perhaps they can also suggest ideas for visuals for the classroom to help with this and then make them. So getting students involved is really important. My quick tip for this video is initially assign roles to students that you know will be able to handle them. But don't forget students who struggle. Sometimes these students can make the best helpers, and it also gives them a necessary feeling of pride and success. So what new roles and tasks are you going to introduce to your class? Which ones did you already use? Please do let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, you can sign up for newsletters to get all of these short videos straight into your inbox, plus you'll get some extra tips and the odd freebie. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.